Hello. I'm Mr. Henry, and I'm gonna be. uh, uh, Maybe it'll help if I remove my mask. Hi, I'm Mr. Henry. Oh, wait. I've still got one more on. There we go. That's better. Hi, I'm Mr. Henry, and welcome to Sweetser Elementary's fourth grade class. I'm really looking forward to a year of learning and growing together. This whole COVID and online experience has been something totally new. And if you've been around Oak Hill much, I kind of slept through the first half of the online teaching. So I'm a rookie at this, but thought we'd give it a go. So for our open house, I thought instead of standing in front and trying to talk to everybody as they came, I thought I'd make this little video. And because I'm not a millennial, I still have paper notes that I've got to follow because I don't know how to do all the techie stuff. So, my name's David Henry, and this is my 24th year at Oak Hill, which is hard to believe since I'm only 30. I've been happily married for 25 years. My wife, Michelle, is pastor to children and families at Brookhaven Wesleyan Church on 38th Street. And we have 11 children, believe it or not. Our daughter Naomi just got married. She's originally from Haiti, and she's just married Matthew. They live in Marion. We have a son, Alexander, who is studying Christian ministries at Indiana Wesleyan, and he's engaged to Becca, and they'll be married June 12th. We have Amara, who's an Oak Hill grad, as well as along with Alexander, and she works at Art in Motion. We have Isaiah, who's an Oak Hill grad. We adopted him from Uganda at the age of 12. He's at Indiana Wesleyan studying exercise science. We have our daughter Emma, who graduated from the CSA Academy and is starting up at Summit Academy for cosmetology. And then in school we have Andrew, who's doing Oak Hill Online, Elliot, who's a junior here on site, Olivia does K through 12 Academy and is a sophomore, Elise does the CSA Academy and is a freshman, and then we round our family off with Morshan, who's a 8th grader here at Oak Hill, and Jayshawn, who's a 6th grader here. So, our life is pretty much kids and people, more kids and people, and that's how we've been called to serve, and it's good. Some days it's a lot, but it's good. And I'm excited that this year I'll have the opportunity to serve your child. I want to talk a little bit about me and what I think about teaching, what I believe. I want you to know that I believe in teaching for mastery. And what that means is it's okay if your child doesn't get it the first time, the second time, the third time. What matters is that your child eventually gets the content. And if we have to keep redoing it, that's okay, because it's my job to make sure they master the content. I'm going to do my best to individualize for your child's needs. I don't really know what that's going to look like this year with all this digital stuff and the pandemic, and I just want you to know I'm committed to learning your child as an individual and seeing how I can meet their specific needs. I know we all want A's and B's, and a lot of us are used to getting all A's and B's, but my actual thought process on this is, if you're always getting A's, have I really challenged you? So I want you to know, I'm going to push to challenge your child, and they may come home with papers that aren't straight A's. And that means hopefully that I'm pushing them enough that they're trying to think in a new way or in a harder way. If the straight A's is important to you, also know kids can redo their papers for a complete grade. So if the straight A's is important to you, we can redo the content till they have straight A's. If you are content knowing that they're just being stretched and pushed and you don't need the straight A's, then they don't have to redo them. I'm going to do my very best to learn your child's learning style and also to grow their brain. Right around this age range between 3rd and 4th grade, kids' brains grow exponentially, which is why the content gets so much harder. So we're going to do a lot of things that are going to stretch them academically, but also that we hope will increase their brain health. As we exit 3rd grade, one of the new things that's a big change in 4th grade is we have to begin scaffolding for independence. 1st, 2nd grade, mom and dad were responsible for remembering all the assignments, really, because, a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, they probably can't do that. In 3rd grade, more of the responsibility falls to the child. By the time we're in 4th grade, it really is your child's job to know what they need to do and when they need to do it. And I'm committing to you, I will make sure they have every opportunity to know and understand what to do and to advocate for themselves. And we're going to use all sorts of digital platforms like Remind. We're going to have a Google site that's linked to the Oak Hill School site that'll give you information. You'll also be invited to join Google Classroom so you can see what's posted in there. Now, in full disclosure, I don't really know how to help you parents navigate Google Classroom yet. That's part of what I get to learn too. But between Remind, the Skyward, and the Google Classroom, you have 3 touch points on where you can track your child's progress. It is their job to monitor their progress, and I will teach them how to access all of those so they always know what their grade is if they want to know. Can we make a deal? I won't believe everything your child says about you if you don't believe everything your child says about me. Okay? We've got to enter this giving each other a lot of grace and a lot of benefit of the doubt. I'm a human and I'm going to make mistakes, and let's be honest, I'm still rocking a little bit of COVID brain where I can get a little confused. If you would do me the favor of leading with grace with me, I promise to lead with grace with you. And I just generally assume that anything that is a misunderstanding can be easily fixed. And so we're going to proceed with that. If you have questions or concerns, please let me be your first point of contact rather than passing it on to Mrs. Liddick. And if we can't resolve it, we'll bring Mrs. Liddick in, but I think we can figure it out ourselves. Reading this year, as best as possible, we're going to do some small groups so that we can individualize books based on skill and based on interest. Again, because we're having to do so much online, I don't know exactly how all of that's going to look. But my commitment is to present reading material to your child that suits their academic level and their interest level. And I have a whole array of classroom novels here that we can access, and we're trying to understand what digital resources are available to us as well. One of the things that I think is really important is the use of Latin roots. So we don't do traditional spelling lists. I teach your child Latin roots, and we do that in a 2-week cycle. Week 1, they're going to learn Latin roots and how to use them and what they mean. Week 2, they're going to take those core roots we just learned and they're going to apply them into words. And I've found that really helps the students get ahead for grades that are upcoming. It's different. It's hard, and they're going to learn words that you and I didn't learn when we were in fourth grade. Um, that's because it's a different world than when we were in fourth grade, for sure. Me, personally, I remember distinctly my fourth grade teacher rolling in a giant cart with a big TV on the top and waiting with bated breath for them to put in a cassette tape, and we 30 of us got to gather around a 18-inch television screen and be spellbound by reading Rainbow or some such thing. Fourth grade's changed a lot. Know that as Latin roots are tricky, or as Latin roots are difficult, I'm here to support your child and to help them move forward. Accelerated Reader is a program we use school-wide, and it's my expectation that your child is going to read in addition to the novels we read in class, and we've set a goal of 25 points per child per quarter. For mathematics, we have a fairly new curriculum, and it approaches things in a whole new way. We're going to be teaching your kids ways different than we've been taught. What we're finding is that often students don't understand the basics that make up math computation, and so we're having to go back and fill in some of that background, and the methodologies we're using for that look really different to parents who weren't taught that way. Please know that however you teach your child or however you help your child is absolutely fine. I don't need them to get the answer my way. I need them to be able to get the answer. But in sticking with the curriculum, we're going to use strategies that are new and trying to help them prove their thinking as they solve their math problems. And so I found it to be very successful, and hope that you'll bear with us. It's another change, but I think it's a change for the better. One of the big changes that's coming up is in social studies. In the way Indiana has structured their social studies standards, in kindergarten you learn about yourself. In first grade you learn about your family. In second grade you learn about your neighborhood, and in third grade you learn about your community. All of those things are fairly easy to understand and fairly easy to process, just because that's what a child's life is enveloped with. In fourth grade, we're hitting Indiana standards, and for the first time, social studies becomes a very academic subject. And I just want you to be prepared. That can come as a culture shock for them. I love social studies. It's totally my favorite thing to teach, and we have so much fun with it. So much fun with it. So, hang in with us. This is going to be a stretching experience for your kids, but the way I approach social studies, it's more of a great big story time with Mr. Henry, where we tell history stories and understand the motives and the consequences behind things that have happened. And I think your children are going to love it. Be prepared that it's going to be different. Science also gets somewhat more academic, and this year, what with the impact of COVID on our learning environment, we are going to have the fourth grade teachers rotate a couple of times a week through the different classrooms. So I will teach my class for a week or two in science, and then I'm going to go next door and I'll teach Mrs. Helfrich's class the same thing, and Mrs. Helfrich will come to my room. So there are some times in science instruction where if you have questions, I might not be the person that has the answer because I might not be the instructor. Regardless, your child will remain in their room and in their desk. English. In this fun and exciting new digital age, we have a digital curriculum called IXL, where I will select skills your student needs to practice online. There will be time to practice those in class, but the students will be expected to score a 90% on 5 or 6 skills per grading period. And so just be aware that that's where the bulk of their English grade is coming from. They can practice IXL at home. They'll know how to access it, and you're welcome to do that at home. Homework. I have no idea what that's going to look like because it's our first time using Chromebooks. And so my general philosophy is homework is not my BFF. I don't love it because as a dad, I have a lot of kids and I've spent many an hour sitting around a dining room table slogging through lots of papers that probably could have been done at school. So I don't want to take up your evening with my assignments. I want your kid to go outside and play, ride their bike, get some energy out. So I assign as little homework as possible. If your child is coming home with a lot of homework that needs to be done, the first question should probably be, how are you using your class and time? Mr. Henry doesn't like a lot of homework, so why do you have so much? Homeworks will be recorded in the assignment book. Also, you'll be able to access them through Skyward as usual. If students are in a habit of having too much late work, I do take away first recess or second recess, one of the two recesses, to have them stay in and get it done, because at some point we've just got to get the work in. A reminder, across the board, any work less than 75% can always be redone for a new grade. We're tiptoeing into Chromebooks here. Actually, that's not true. We are diving headfirst into the land of Chromebooks. And so there's going to be a great learning curve for all of us as we figure out how to best use these tools for our fourth graders. Know that I don't have all the answers. If you have a question, I will find the answer, but it may take a little bit of time. But your student will be able to use this Chromebook to log on to Skyward and check their grades 24/7. You'll be able to log on to Skyward. Know that if there's a 0 in Skyward, that means they should have handed that paper in and they didn't. Anything other than a 0, you don't have to worry about. If it's an asterisk, don't worry about it. That means something else. One of the things that's really important to me, it is so important to me that I protect the innocence of your child. The internet gives us access to a lot of unfortunate material and a lot of unfortunate individuals. And just know that Oak Hill takes the virtual safety of their students very seriously. We have really pretty effective filters. As a dad of Oak Hill kids, I'm really happy with the upgrades and things they continue to make on our security filters. And any breach in online ethics, that'll be a conversation your student and I will have, and that we will also share with you should that happen. As far as things like field trips and all that go for this year, I've got no idea. We don't know what's going to happen. Don't plan on any field trips. Maybe we'll do something virtual. I don't know. Guys, here's what I promise. I promise your kid is going to walk into a classroom where they are loved and where they are prayed for, and that where their completely human and fallible teacher will do his absolute best to love them, help them know their worth, and to help them achieve things they didn't know they could achieve before. Looking forward to a great year, and just trusting that God's going to bless our efforts and keep us safe and healthy. And just in closing, thank you so much for all the support that my family has had. You know, the doctors never thought I would be here starting the school off, and here I am. My voice is a little weak. I get a little bit tired, but I've got no complaints, and Mrs. Liddick is going to provide me with a microphone so everybody can hear me. So, looking forward to a great year. Contact me if you have any questions. Okay, this is the awkward part where I have to find out how to shut off a video. These Chromebooks are touchscreen, so I think I can just touch the red button.